The rain pounded against the stained glass windows of St. Mary's Church in suburban Chicago, but inside, the air was thick with silence. Eleanor Thompson stood alone at the front pew, her black dress clinging to her like a second skin, soaked from the downpour outside. No one else had come, not her parents, not her siblings, not even the distant cousins who always showed up for free food at family gatherings. Only Eleanor, the lesbian granddaughter Grandma Evelyn had secretly cherished. As the priest droned on about eternal peace, Eleanor's mind raced back to the last conversation with her grandmother, just weeks before the stroke claimed her. "They'll never understand, sweetheart," Evelyn had whispered, her frail hand squeezing Eleanor's. "But you have to live your truth, no matter the cost." Eleanor had nodded, tears in her eyes, promising to stay strong. Now, staring at the polished oak casket, she wondered if that strength would hold when the family inevitably descended like vultures. The service ended abruptly, the priest offering a pitying glance before retreating. Eleanor lingered, tracing the engraved nameplate with her finger. Her phone buzzed, a text from Jamie, her girlfriend of 3 years. "I'm here if you need me. Love you." A small comfort in the void. But as she stepped out into the storm, a sleek black sedan pulled up, and out stepped Mr. Harlan, the family lawyer, his face grim. "Eleanor, we need to talk about the will. It's complicated." They met in a dimly lit coffee shop across the street, the aroma of burnt espresso clashing with the weight of the moment. Harlan slid a thick envelope across the table. "Your grandmother left everything to you. The house in Oak Park, the savings, the stocks, valued at over $2 million. But there's a condition." Eleanor's heart skipped. "What condition?" Harlan cleared his throat. "You must renounce your lifestyle and marry a man within a year, or the estate goes to a conservative charity that opposes gay rights." The words hit like a slap. Eleanor's hands trembled as she read the document herself. Evelyn, the woman who'd baked her cookies and listened to her teenage confessions about crushes on girls, had done this? It didn't make sense. "This can't be right," she muttered. "Grandma knew about me and Jamie. She supported us." Harlan sighed. "She changed the will 6 months ago, after a visit from your parents. Perhaps pressure got to her." Eleanor drove home in a daze, the wipers struggling against the torrent. Jamie was waiting in their cozy apartment in Wrigleyville, a pot of soup simmering on the stove. "How was it?" Jamie asked, pulling her into a hug. Eleanor broke down, sobbing into Jamie's shoulder. "She betrayed me, Jamie. The will. It's like she never accepted me at all." Jamie listened, stroking her hair, but Eleanor could see the flicker of doubt in her eyes. Was this the beginning of the end? That night, as they lay in bed, Eleanor couldn't sleep. Her mind churned with questions. Why would Grandma do this? Was it a test? Or had the family's relentless homophobia finally worn her down? Eleanor's parents, devout Catholics from the old school, had cut her off when she came out at 22. "It's a sin, Eleanor," her mother had said, voice laced with disappointment. "We can't condone it." Her brother Mark had been worse, spouting Bible verses and calling her confused. Only Grandma had been a lifeline, sneaking calls and visits. The next morning, Eleanor called her best friend, Sarah, a fellow lesbian who'd navigated her own family drama. "It's like a bad movie," Sarah said over coffee. "But you have to fight it. Contest the will." Eleanor nodded, but inside the conflict raged. Contesting meant dragging Grandma's name through court, exposing family secrets. And what if she lost? The money wasn't the point. It was the betrayal, the erasure of her identity. Meanwhile, word of the will spread like wildfire. Eleanor's phone lit up with messages from relatives she hadn't spoken to in years. "Aunt Linda. We need to talk about Evelyn's wishes. Cousin Greg. This isn't fair to the family." They hadn't attended the funeral, but now they were circling, sensing opportunity. Eleanor ignored them, focusing on Jamie. "We can get through this," Jamie assured her. But Eleanor wondered, at what cost? As days turned to weeks, the pressure mounted. Eleanor's job as a graphic designer suffered. She stared at blank screens, her creativity stifled by grief and anger. One evening, after a particularly brutal day, she snapped at Jamie over dinner. "Why aren't you more upset? This affects us both. Jamie's eyes welled. Because I'm scared, Eleanor. What if you choose the money over us? The accusation hung in the air. A crack in their foundation. Eleanor stormed out, walking the rainy streets of Chicago, her thoughts a whirlwind. She ended up at Grandma's empty house, the key still on her ring. Inside, the familiar scent of lavender hit her. Evelyn's favorite. Rifling through drawers, she found old letters, photos of family holidays where everyone smiled, oblivious to the undercurrents. Then a journal entry. My dear Eleanor is so brave. But the family. They threaten to cut me off if I don't intervene. God forgive me. Tears streamed down Eleanor's face. So it was coercion. Her parents had manipulated Evelyn in her final months. The realization fueled a fire in her. She would contest the will, expose the truth. But as she left the house, her father's car pulled into the driveway. We need to talk, he said, his voice stern. The confrontation was just beginning. The standoff in Grandma's living room was electric. Eleanor's father, Robert, stood rigid by the fireplace, his wife Margaret beside him, clutching her purse like a shield. You've caused enough pain, Elena, Robert began, his tone laced with authority honed from years as a corporate executive. Evelyn wanted what's best for you, to save your soul. Eleanor laughed bitterly. By forcing me to deny who I am? That's not love, Dad. That's control. Margaret's eyes darted away, avoiding Eleanor's gaze. We did it for her own good. She was frail, influenced by people like you. The implication stung. Eleanor clenched her fists. You mean influenced by her granddaughter who actually visited her? Unlike you, who only showed up when she needed something. Robert's face reddened. Watch your tone. We're here to discuss the will rationally. If you contest it, you'll lose everything. And drag the family through scandal. Eleanor paced the room, her mind racing. Rational? This was emotional warfare. She thought of Jamie waiting at home, probably worrying. What if I don't contest it? What then? Margaret softened slightly. Come back to the church. Meet a nice man. We can help. The offer was a trap, laced with conditional love. Eleanor shook her head. I love Jamie. That's not changing. The argument escalated, voices rising. Robert slammed his hand on the table. This lifestyle is destroying our family. Evelyn saw that in the end. Eleanor fired back. She saw your manipulation. I found her journal. Silence fell. Margaret gasped. You had no right. But the seed of doubt was planted. As they left, Robert warned. Think carefully, Elena. The charity gets it all if you don't comply. Back home, Jamie was furious. They came to the house? Without telling me. Eleanor explained, but Jamie's trust was fraying. You're letting them in your head. What if you start believing them? The fight lasted hours, ending with Jamie sleeping on the couch. Eleanor lay awake, questioning her resolve. Was fighting worth losing Jamie? The next day, Eleanor met with a lawyer, Ms. Rivera, a sharp-witted advocate for LGBTQ rights. This clause is discriminatory, Rivera said, scanning the will. We can challenge it on grounds of undue influence and public policy. Hope flickered, but Rivera warned, it'll be ugly. Family testimonies, media attention. Are you prepared? Eleanor nodded, but inside fear gnawed. The cost. Her privacy, her sanity. As preparations began, family pressure intensified. Her brother Mark called, pleading. Mom's not sleeping, Eleanor. This is killing her. Guilt twisted in her gut. Mark had once been her ally, before religion pulled him away. Then tell her to accept me, Eleanor replied. I can't change who I am. Mark sighed. Sometimes we have to sacrifice for family. The word sacrifice echoed. What was she willing to give up? Jamie, sensing Eleanor's turmoil, suggested a weekend getaway to Michigan's dunes. We need space from this mess. The drive was tense, but as they walked the beach, hands intertwined, peace settled. I don't want the money if it means losing you, Eleanor said. Jamie smiled. Then fight smart. Don't let them divide us. But on the return, a voicemail from cousin Greg. Heard about the contest. We're rallying against you. Blood is thicker than whatever you have. The betrayal cut deep. Greg, who'd partied with her in college, now siding with the bigots. Eleanor's anger boiled over at a family dinner she foolishly attended, hoping for reconciliation. There, amid roast beef and awkward silences, Aunt Linda cornered her. Evelyn was ashamed deep down. That's why the condition. Eleanor exploded. She was coerced. You all isolated her. The room erupted in shouts, accusations flying. Margaret cried. You're tearing us apart. Eleanor stormed out, vowing never to return. Alone in her car, sobs racked her body. The price of authenticity was isolation. Jamie comforted her that night, but cracks showed. How much more can we take? Jamie whispered. Eleanor didn't answer, fearing the truth. Discovery phase in court loomed. Rivera dug up emails from Robert to Evelyn, pressuring her to fix Eleanor. Damning evidence. But Robert countered with witnesses claiming Evelyn's devout faith. The battle lines drawn, Eleanor faced a choice. Push forward or settle. Settling meant partial inheritance without the clause, but admitting defeat. One evening Jamie confronted her. If you settle, what does that say about us? Eleanor hesitated. It says I want peace. Jamie's eyes hardened. Peace at the cost of pride? The argument piqued Jamie, packing a bag. I need time. As the door slammed, Eleanor crumpled. The will had claimed its first victim, their relationship. Jamie's departure left a void in the apartment. Echoes of laughter replaced by silence. Eleanor stared at the empty closet, her heart aching. This is what they wanted, she muttered, blaming her family. But deep down, she knew her indecision fueled the rift. Calls to Jamie went unanswered. Texts read but ignored. Isolation deepened. At work, focus eluded her. A client meeting bombed when she zoned out, thinking of Jamie's smile. Her boss pulled her aside. Take time off, Eleanor. Sort this out. Grateful she did, but time off meant more rumination. She visited Evelyn's grave, flowers in hand. Why, Grandma? Why put me through this? The wind offered no answer. Rivera called with updates. We have a strong case. Your father's emails show coercion. But then a twist. Margaret wanted to testify for Eleanor. She's having second thoughts, Rivera said. Hope surged. Eleanor met her mother at a neutral park bench, autumn leaves crunching underfoot. Margaret looked frail, eyes red-rimmed. I pushed Evelyn too hard. I thought I was saving you. Tears fell. But seeing you alone at the funeral, it broke me. Eleanor's anger softened. Then help me, Mom. Tell the truth. Margaret nodded. I will. But your father, he won't forgive me. The cost? Her marriage, perhaps. The revelation shifted dynamics. Robert raged when he learned, calling Eleanor a manipulator. You're poisoning her. But Margaret stood firm, moving to a hotel. Family fractured further. Mark sided with Dad, accusing Mom of betrayal. How could you? He texted her. Margaret replied. Because I love my daughter. Eleanor reached out to Jamie, leaving a voicemail. Mom's testifying for us. Things are changing. Please come home. Hours later, Jamie appeared, bag in hand. I missed you, she said, embracing Eleanor. Reconciliation was tentative but real. We fight together, Jamie vowed. Court day arrived, the Chicago courthouse buzzing. Eleanor sat nervously, Jamie by her side. Rivera presented evidence. Journals, emails, witnesses to Evelyn's true support for Eleanor. This clause violates equality, Rivera argued. The opposing lawyer countered. Evelyn's wishes were clear, influenced by faith. Margaret took the stand, voice trembling. We pressured her. She loved Eleanor as she is. Gasps from the gallery. Robert glared, but cracks showed in his facade. During recess, he approached Eleanor. This ends now. Settle, or I'll disown you both. Eleanor stood tall. You've already disowned me, Dad. This is about justice. Testimony continued. A surprise witness. Evelyn's nurse, confirming the family's visits turned coercive. She cried after they left. The judge seemed swayed. But then Robert's turn. Evelyn wanted Eleanor to have a normal life. A family, children. Eleanor winced at the implication. Closing arguments sealed it. Rivera? Love isn't conditional. Opponent. Respect the will. As the judge deliberated, tension peaked. Outside, family huddled in groups. Mark with Dad, Margaret with Eleanor. Jamie squeezed her hand. Whatever happens, we win. The ruling. The clause invalid, estate to Eleanor outright. Cheers from supporters, but Robert stormed out. Victory tasted bittersweet. Margaret hugged Eleanor. I'm proud. But the family rift widened. Post-trial, Eleanor hosted a small gathering at Grandma's house, now hers. Jamie, Sarah, few friends. To new beginnings, Eleanor toasted. But shadows lingered. Robert sent a letter. You've destroyed us. Guilt resurfaced. Jamie noticed. Don't let him in. But Eleanor pondered. Was winning worth the wreckage? She donated part of the inheritance to LGBTQ charities, honoring Evelyn's true spirit. Yet doubts nag. One night, Mark showed up unannounced. Dad's had a heart scare. Blames the stress. Eleanor's stomach dropped. Is he okay? Mark nodded. But he wants nothing to do with you. The visit turned confrontational. You chose this path, Eleanor. Live with it. As he left, Eleanor broke down. The price? Her brother's love. Jamie comforted her, but strain returned. This family's toxic. Maybe cut ties. Eleanor hesitated. They're still family. The debate simmered, testing their bond anew. As winter set in, Eleanor reflected. The will had exposed Fisher's forced choices. But healing? Elusive. A call from Margaret. Your father's softening. Give time. Hope flickered, but at what further cost? Snow blanketed Chicago, mirroring the chill in Eleanor's relationships. Jamie's patience wore thin with the ongoing drama. We need boundaries, she insisted over breakfast. Eleanor agreed, but enforcing them proved hard. Margaret called daily, seeking advice on her separation from Robert. He's stubborn, but I miss him. Eleanor listened, torn between support and resentment. Work improved. Eleanor channeled energy into designs for a queer advocacy campaign. This is for us, she told Jamie, showing sketches. Jamie smiled, but distance grew. Late nights at the office became excuses. One evening, Eleanor found Jamie texting furiously. Who's that? Jamie hesitated. An old friend. Suspicion crept in. Family tensions escalated. Robert, recovering from his scare, filed a countersuit, claiming emotional distress. Frivolous. Rivera dismissed, but it dragged on. Court again, more testimonies. Mark accused Eleanor of selfishness. You could have complied for Grandma's sake. Eleanor retorted. Comply? Erase myself. The judge tossed the suit, but scars deepened. Amid chaos, Eleanor discovered letters from Evelyn to Jamie, hidden in a box. Take care of my girl, one read. She's stronger than she knows. Touched, Eleanor showed Jamie. She loved you too. Jamie teared up. Then why the claws? Eleanor sighed. Fear. Manipulation. The moment bonded them, but fleeting. A betrayal hit hard. Cousin Greg leaked family emails to a conservative blog. Headlines screamed. Lesbian heir destroys devout family over inheritance. Online trolls flooded Eleanor's social media. Greedy sinner. Jamie urged deletion. Don't engage. But Eleanor couldn't resist responding, fueling the fire. The backlash affected Jamie's job as a teacher. Parents complained, citing association with controversy. Her principal warned, keep it private. Jamie confronted Eleanor. Your fight is costing me. Guilt crushed Eleanor. I'm sorry, but damage done. Seeking solace, Eleanor attended a support group for LGBTQ individuals with family estrangement. Stories mirrored hers: rejection, conditional love. One woman shared, I cut ties. Best decision. Another, I fought for reconciliation. Worth it. Eleanor left conflicted. What path? Robert reached out via Margaret. Meet me. Neutral ground. Eleanor agreed, Jamie wary. At a diner, Robert looked aged. I was wrong to pressure Evelyn. But your choice. It's hard. Eleanor pushed. Accept me or nothing. He hesitated. I need time. Progress. Or stall. Post-meeting, Jamie exploded. You're giving him another chance? After everything, Eleanor defended. Foreclosure. The fight peaked. Choose family or us. Jamie stormed out again. Alone, Eleanor questioned. Was reconciliation a betrayal to Jamie? Days blurred. Eleanor threw herself into charity work, organizing a fundraiser for queer youth. Success brought purpose but emptiness at home. Jamie returned apologetic. I overreacted. But trust eroded. A shocking call. Margaret attempted reconciliation with Robert, but he refused unless Eleanor apologized. For what? Eleanor demanded. Margaret. For the pain. Outraged, Eleanor refused. Margaret chose Robert, withdrawing support. I'm sorry, honey. Betrayal anew. The cycle of hurt intensified. Eleanor's health suffered. Sleepless nights, anxiety attacks. Therapy helped unpack. You're paying for their prejudice. Insights led to boundaries. No more family contact. Jamie supported, but their relationship strained under weight. Intimacy faded, conversations tense. We need couples counseling, Jamie suggested. Eleanor agreed but feared the verdict. As spring thawed the snow, Eleanor faced a crossroads. Donate more inheritance? Move away. The decisions loomed, each with a price. Buds bloomed in Chicago, but Eleanor's world felt stagnant. Counseling sessions with Jamie revealed deep fissures. I feel like a casualty in your war, Jamie admitted. The therapist nodded. Eleanor, what are you willing to sacrifice? The question haunted her. Family silence was deafening. No calls, no outreach. Eleanor wondered if she'd won the battle but lost the war. A letter from Mark. Dad's depressed. Mom's a mess. Happy now. Guilt resurfaced. She drafted replies, deleted them. Work became refuge. A promotion came, leading a team on inclusive branding. Proud of you, Jamie said, but enthusiasm waned. Date nights felt forced. One evening, Jamie confessed. I kissed someone else. At a bar. The world tilted. Why? Eleanor choked. Jamie. I felt alone. Betrayal's sting was visceral. They talked through the night. It was a mistake, Jamie pleaded. Eleanor forgave barely, but doubt lingered. Was this the cost of her fight? Rivera closed the case files. You're free now. But freedom felt hollow. Eleanor visited Evelyn's grave again. Was it worth it? A butterfly landed nearby, symbolic perhaps. Socially, friends distanced. The scandal tainted her. Sarah remained loyal. They're missing out. But isolation bit. A twist. An anonymous donor, revealed as Margaret, funded Eleanor's charity event. She still cares, Jamie noted. Eleanor reached out, a tentative coffee. Margaret. I regret pulling away. Tears flowed. Help me understand. Eleanor shared stories of her life with Jamie. Margaret listened, eyes opening. Robert lurked in the background, unyielding. Mark mediated. Give him space. But space meant stagnation. Jamie's infidelity scar healed slowly. Trust rebuilt through actions, open phones, more communication. But intimacy hesitated. Eleanor decided. Sell Grandma's house, start fresh. Proceeds to charities and a new home with Jamie. A clean slate, she said. Jamie agreed, excited. Moving day a surprise. Robert at the door. I read the blog backlash. It's wrong. Eleanor wary. What do you want? Robert. To apologize. I was scared of change, of losing you. Tears in his eyes. Can we try? The moment pivotal. Eleanor glanced at Jamie, who nodded subtly. Slowly, Eleanor said. Dinner arranged, neutral, cautious. The meal was awkward but breakthroughs. Robert asked about Jamie's job. Margaret beamed. Mark joined, apologetic. I was blind. Laughter trickled in. But post-dinner, Jamie voiced concerns. Don't rush. They hurt you. Eleanor assured. I'm guarding my heart. Healing progressed unevenly. Family therapy suggested. Robert resisted at first, then complied. Sessions unearthed pains, childhood expectations, religious conflicts. I wanted the best for you, Robert admitted. Eleanor. The best is acceptance. Jamie's patience tested. This takes time from us. Eleanor balanced, prioritizing. A high, Family attended a pride event Eleanor organized. Robert uncomfortable but present. Progress, Margaret whispered. Yet setbacks. A heated argument when Robert slipped into old rhetoric. Homosexuality is. He stopped, apologized. Trust fragile. As summer warmed, Eleanor reflected on the journey. Losses. Innocence, blind trust. Gains. Authenticity, stronger bonds. But the ultimate test loomed. A family wedding for cousin Greg. Invite extended. Attend? Risk regression. The wedding in the suburbs was a minefield. Eleanor and Jamie arrived hand in hand, heads high. Whispers followed. The air. Robert greeted warmly but tension simmered. During toasts Greg sneered subtly. To traditional families. Eleanor bit her tongue. Dance floor Jamie pulled her close. We're here. A relative approached. So brave. Patronizing but progress. Post-wedding family gathered. Robert proposed a toast. To forgiveness. Glasses clinked but Mark pulled Eleanor aside. Dad's trying but it's hard. Eleanor. For all of us. Home Jamie exhaled. Survived. But the night replayed doubts. What if they backslide? Months passed, bonds strengthened. Holidays together, Thanksgiving without drama. Robert even met Jamie's parents, awkward but civil. Yet, internal conflicts persisted. Eleanor dreamed of Evelyn questioning choices. Therapy continued. You've paid dearly, grief, betrayal, rifts. Jamie's support unwavering, but she voiced, I almost left. Twice. Honesty bonded them deeper. A milestone. Eleanor proposed to Jamie at the dunes. Ring from Evelyn's jewelry. Yes. Tears of joy. Family reaction mixed. Margaret thrilled, Robert hesitant but congratulatory. I'm learning. Wedding planning tested alliances. Robert offered to walk Eleanor down the aisle. If you'll have me. Eleanor accepted, emotional. The day arrived, intimate, in a garden. Vows exchanged, promises of forever. Family present, united in the moment. But post-honeymoon reality bit. A family crisis. Margaret's health scare. United in support but old wounds surfaced. Robert blamed stress from changes. Eleanor confronted. Changes? Acceptance. He backed down. Through it all, Eleanor pondered the prices paid. Broken trust, lost time, emotional scars. But growth emerged, family evolved, love endured. In quiet moments she wondered. Had the will been a catalyst for change, or a curse? Evelyn's intent remained enigmatic. As life normalized, Eleanor wrote a memoir outline, sharing her story to help others. The Cost of Truth, she titled it. Yet, one question lingered, sparking debates in her mind and among friends. Was forcing a family to confront their prejudice through legal battles and personal sacrifices ultimately justified, or did it perpetuate more harm than healing?